Welcome to Ancient Life Hacks. I am Jared Madsen. I have a master's degree in Chinese medicine. I lived in China for many years. I'm fluent in Chinese. And today we will be talking about Benjamin Franklin. Interesting. Not what you'd expect. Well, here we go. We're going to talk briefly about the history, all that he did. But really what we want to talk about is his 13 virtues that he wrote about in his autobiography and analyze those. So we'll talk about brief history of Benjamin Franklin, some of his ideas on spirituality. We will dive into those 13 principles. And then as a bonus, we are going to compare those 13 virtues with Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, and we're also going to look at what Chinese medicine would think about these virtues. Are these actually healthy practices to incorporate into our lives or not? So let's dive in. Benjamin Franklin was born on January 17th, 1706 in Boston, Massachusetts, and he passed away on April 17th, 1790 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He lived to the age of 84, which was quite remarkable for his time and reflected his longevity and the active, multifaceted life he led as a person with expertise in various fields and a prominent statesman. All right. Benjamin Franklin in a nutshell. So we have 5 points, just to sum it up real quick. Inventions and scientific discovery. That's the first thing. That's one big thing he's known for, right? Franklin's contributions to science, including his experiments with electricity, the invention of the lightning rod, and the Franklin stove, had a profound impact on both science and everyday life. Number 2, education and philanthropy. Franklin's advocacy for education, including the establishment of the University of Pennsylvania, and his philanthropic efforts, such as his role in founding the American Philosophical Society, had a lasting impact on American intellectual life and society. Number 3, founding father and diplomat. As a founding father of the United States, Franklin played a pivotal role in securing French support during the American Revolution and was a signatory of the Declaration of Independence and the Treaty of Paris, which recognized American independence. Number 4, printer and publisher. His work as a printer and publisher, including Poor Richard's Almanac, he invented the almanac, contributed to the spread of knowledge and the development of American literature and culture. And last but not least, and what we are going to talk about today, the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin. Believe it or not, he wrote that himself. Anyway, his autobiography, the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, remains one of his most enduring legacies, offering valuable insights into his life, values, and principles. Let's dive in. Before we dive in too much, though, before we get to the principles, let's briefly go over some of his, we can say where these ideas came from, or at least some of what he was kind of into, and to get a better understanding of where he was coming from. So he was into deism. Deism as in deity, as in a god, okay? So deism, I have here, deists believe in a higher power or a creator, but reject organized religion, religious dogma, and supernatural intervention. The view of God as an entity who set the natural laws in motion, but does not interfere directly with human affairs. Okay, so that's not totally what Benjamin Franklin thought, but that was just one thing that he was into a little bit, and he read about that. So basically believing in the divine, but not really signing up for any particular religion. And we're going to see how that thought kind of affected some of what he did later. Moral virtue and self-improvement, right? Franklin believed that the individual should strive for moral virtue and self-improvement. We're going to see this in the 13 virtues. Now, one thing he believed in was called divine providence. In this case, refers to protective care, guidance, or benevolent intervention of a divine or higher power in the affairs of individuals in the world. Okay, so he did believe that there were divine powers kind of helping guide people along. He believed that God played a role in guiding events and individuals' lives towards certain outcomes. All right. Another big thing he talked about was prayer and reflection. Okay. Throughout his life, Franklin engaged in private prayer and self-examination. He saw prayer as a means of seeking guidance and assistance from a higher power in living a virtuous life. Right? And he talks about this in the virtues that we will get to momentarily. Franklin's pursuit of moral and civic virtues was closely tied to his understanding of the divine. He believed that by practicing these virtues, individuals could align themselves with the moral order established by God. So we're definitely going to see these play out in the virtues that he writes about. Little bit of a spoiler, as we'll see in these virtues, these are specific things that you do in your life with the idea that if you can conduct yourself to these principles, to these specific things in life, that you are aligning yourself with what the Creator, with what the divine, how they want you to be. And last but not least, his legacy. His emphasis on reason, self-improvement, and ethical living continues to influence discussions on the relationship between spirituality and personal development. Yes, it influences what we're talking about right now. Yeah, so there you go. A side note here, I have a lot of notes. Not all of these will fit in the description. In fact, only a small portion. But if you would like, you can visit our website, ancientlifehacks.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. I often have way more notes than what I'm bringing up here in the videos, so we can put these notes into the newsletter, and each week you can receive that with my insanely long list of information. But then you can go and you can pick and choose, or if I said something that you wanted to ponder more, or you didn't quite understand, or doesn't make any sense, you can go and call me on it, I suppose, and you can look in my notes. I will provide those for you. While you're down checking out the description, go ahead and like and subscribe this video, and be sure to share it with all your friends and family. If you do enjoy my videos, please go ahead and do that. That would greatly help me grow this channel. Without further ado, the 13 virtues. Okay. Temperance. This is what he wrote. Eat not to dullness. Drink not to elevation, end quote. Franklin believed he was honoring the divine in order of moderation and self-control, which he saw as a virtuous quality. Eating to moderation, right? We might not think that this is, I just eat what I want and whatever. He saw this as part of his path towards a higher realm. If we remember from Dante's Inferno, the first layer of hell, like the limbo, like the first section that they enter into, is what? Pop quiz. I believe, if I remember correctly, it is gluttony. So it is fat people. I didn't come up with it. I'm just saying this is what Dante saw as he entered into the first level of hell, were gluttonous people. So right here, this is kind of talking about that. Let's not eat to dullness. Let's not be gluttonous. Number 2, silence. Speak not but what may benefit others or yourself. Avoid trifling conversation. Okay, so example, focus on meaningful communication and avoid gossip or idle chatter. Idle chatter, not good. Too much talking, not good. There are a lot of practices that focus on not speaking. Why do they do that? We'll get to that later. But Franklin definitely agreed. He's not necessarily going to the extreme and not speaking at all, but he's not saying things that he doesn't need to say. Like here it says, speak not but what may benefit others or yourself. Don't be negative, right? Don't be a complainer, right? If you're a complainer, Benjamin Franklin would not hang out with you. Number 3, order. Let all your things have their place. Let each part of your business have its time. Okay, so organize your life and work efficiently and with great productivity. Order, right? Keep everything in order. Everything has a place. Number 4, resolution. Resolve to perform what you ought. Perform without fail what you resolve. Oh, commit to your goals and ensure you follow through with your reasons. Yes. So again, this is part of his honoring the divine by committing to fulfill one's duties and responsibilities without wavering. We're going to see this in traditional Chinese thought as well, especially Confucianism. We'll talk about this. Number 5, frugality. Make no expense but to do good to others or yourself, i.e., waste nothing. Okay? Spend wisely, avoid wastefulness, and save for the future. Benjamin Franklin, I should say, didn't see these as just, hey, you know what, you should do this. This is a good old life hack. He saw this as part of his path to perfection, right? What the Creator has set us out to do. We need to be frugal. Okay, so it's not just an idea. You can use, that's a lot of these things too, we're going to see. You can use, if you use these, it will help you be a more successful, happy person in general, probably. But Benjamin Franklin felt there were deeper meanings to this. But if all you want to do is live a happier, healthier life, not bad to follow either. Number 6, industry. Lose no time. Be always employed in something useful. Cut off all unnecessary actions. Okay? Embrace hard work and maximize your productivity by avoiding idle time. This also has the principle of saying no, right? Cut off all unnecessary actions. Hey, will you do this? Will you come do this? Sorry, that is an unnecessary action. I will not. But if it benefits others, you might want to consider. There's a lot to this. Sincerity, number 7. Use no hurtful deceit. Think innocently and justly. And if you speak, speak accordingly. Okay. Uphold honesty and integrity in your actions. Avoid deceitful behavior. Okay, this is also too, this is walking that line sometimes, right? You know, everybody should know, don't do bad things. But sometimes it's not really clear, right? It could be a little deceitful, right? You might say something that's not. Benjamin Franklin would say, no, be sincere. Justice. Wrong none by doing injuries or omitting the benefits that are your duty. So an example, treat others fairly, fulfill your obligations, and avoid causing harm to anyone. Number 10, moderation. Okay, we're going to see this a lot when we get to some of the Asian ideas, right? Especially Confucianism. Avoid extremes. Forbear resenting injuries so much as you think they deserve. Okay, maintain balance in your actions and reactions, avoiding excessive emotions or behavior. Again, this is lining with the divine in his thinking. This will elevate us spiritually. So these are all seemingly very practical things and things that we should just do. But if you can do all 13, you can do them well, maybe some magical things will happen. Number 10, I think I said that wrong last time. Moderation was number 9. Number 10 is cleanliness. Tolerate no uncleanliness in body, clothes, or habitation. Example, prioritize personal hygiene, cleanliness, and appearance, and a clean living environment. Cleanliness is godliness, right? Isn't that what people say? Tranquility, number 11. Be not disturbed at trifles or at accidents, common or unavoidable, right? Maintain your composure and resilience, not letting minor issues disrupt your peace of mind. Probably have all been guilty of letting something small and insignificant bothering us. Benjamin Franklin would say that's you're focusing on the wrong thing here, right? You're letting that stuff bother you? No. eyes on the prize. Whatever that prize may be. Well, hopefully we'll figure that out later down. Chastity, number 12. Rarely use venery, but for health or offspring, never to dullness, weakness, or the injury of your own or another's peace or reputation. Wow. Okay. So basically, practice sexual restraint and purity in thought and action. As we get into Buddhism, yes, Taoism, and Chinese medicine, this is a big topic. Not one that's talked about a lot, but chastity is important in every single culture. And we're going to get into more details, especially from Chinese medicine, as to why that is important. Benjamin Franklin just kind of sums it up here. Last but not least, 13, humility. Imitate Jesus and Socrates. That actually is kind of interesting because it shows that, imitate Jesus. So he was reading Christian literature, but he also thought Socrates was great. I would go out on a limb and say, if he had access to teachings from the East or from other places, he would probably add people to his list of those to imitate. So look to the examples of Jesus and Socrates as models of humility and virtuous living. Those are the 13 principles. Again, they are very real things that we can do and we can incorporate into our lives. Benjamin Franklin saw these 13 as the most important and complete things that you could do to bring your life harmony and align with divine principles. But how does this compare to Chinese medicine? Let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to go through 13 again, all 13 again. We're going to see how it looks. Temperance in Chinese medicine. Balance in all aspects of life, including diet and lifestyle, is fundamental to health. Imbalances can lead to various health issues. Absolutely. In fact, some places, like some areas in Japan, they'll even eat almost, what do they say? They say eat to your 80% full. Right? So they're really taking that seriously. And they have some people who live the longest of, like in general, apparently they're some of the longest lived people on earth. So definitely something to your health with number 1 of temperance. Silence, number 2, Chinese medicine. Mental tranquility and emotional balance are important for overall well-being. Practices like meditation, mindfulness align with this virtue. Yes. Also, too, by speaking too much, you are injuring your qi, right? So right now I'm expelling a lot of qi. So I need to go meditate or something like that afterwards to get my qi back, I suppose. Number 3, order. In Chinese medicine, harmony and balance in the body's vital energies, qi, like I was just saying, and the flow of blood are central to health. Lack of clutter, getting things nice and ordered, that is definitely a big thing that we want to focus on in Chinese medicine. And also having everything, your schedule and everything like that, having a nice consistency, order, cleanliness, all of that. Resolution, determination, and willpower can influence one's ability to adhere to a healthy lifestyle and treatment plans. That is going to connect to the kidneys. Okay? So, if you have a good resolution, that could positively affect your kidneys and vice versa. If you strengthen your kidneys, you should have better willpower, better resolution. Fulfilling number 4 of Benjamin Franklin's 13 virtues. Frugality, right? And we kind of talked about this at the moderation. Diets often emphasize simplicity and moderation and frugality in consumption. Absolutely. Industry, right? Being active and maintaining physical health are important for promoting the flow of qi and maintaining health. So working and being active are important. It is important for your health. If you are not active, if you lie around on the couch all day and do nothing, your qi will stagnate. Another good reason to do virtue 6. Number 7, sincerity. In Chinese medicine, we say honesty with one's healthcare provider about symptoms and lifestyle is crucial for diagnosis and treatment. Sure, you want to be honest with and not just with your healthcare provider, you want to be honest with yourself. If you're not feeling well, you should probably go see someone. Justice. Fairness in the allocation of resources such as herbal remedies and medical care is important in traditional Chinese healthcare system. Okay, so this is an interesting side topic. Traditionally, how did healthcare work in China? Okay, the idea was in your village, you had your doctor. When you were healthy, right, each month, you would pay your doctor a little something because your doctor made sure that you were healthy. If you got sick, you didn't pay, right? So it was in your doctor's best interest to keep you healthy. And if you became sick, he had to foot the bill, right? He was the one who had to go get you herbs, and he had to give you acupuncture, and he had to figure it out. It was now his problem. Whereas if he's guiding you along the way, making sure that you're healthy, making sure that you have all healthy habits and you do everything right, then he gets paid. Hey, that's kind of the exact opposite of what we do. I'm just saying. In ancient China, being healthy was profitable, but our modern system is being sick profitable? No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. No way, right? Right, guys? Okay, number 9, moderation. Oh, yes, absolutely. Avoiding excesses and extremes in diets and lifestyle, maintaining balance in the body's vital energy. Chinese medicine is huge into this. Everything in balance. We see many fad diets out there that go to extremes. In extreme situations, maybe having an extreme diet is important. But generally speaking, you want a nice, balanced diet, balanced lifestyle, everything in balance. Cleanliness, number 10. Is cleanliness important in Chinese medicine? I think we can skip that. Yes, it's important in, yes. Tranquility, emotional balance, mental tranquility are seen as vital for the free flow of qi and overall health. Absolutely, right? Tranquility. There's meditation, a ton of thought of that in traditional Chinese culture. Chastity. Okay, now we're getting into it. Balance in sexual activity is considered important for maintaining one's vital energies, especially as it relates to the kidney system in Chinese medicine. Okay? The kidneys are all organs are important, but the kidneys have the basic essence and energies that are needed to support the other organs. Therefore, in terms of one's health and deeper spiritual health, chastity is of the utmost importance, right? And I don't care what modern people say. If you look in ancient times, in virtually every religion, every spiritual practice, as long as it's good and positive, chastity is a big thing, right? Any kind of spiritual meditation, anything like that. It's more than just the mental idea. There are actual physical energies in both this dimension and other dimensions, as we would see, that are needed to not just give the body health, but also on one's path to spiritual attainment. We will see that later down here in Buddhism and Taoism when we hit that. Number 12, very important, one that many people have forgotten in modern times, was actually one of the most important ones. Humility, number 13, last one. Yeah, humility in Chinese medicine. If you got something going on, again, you should probably go and tell somebody. Okay. That was Chinese medicine. So we see how some of these principles can help with some basic health, right? And we see how it can strengthen. We're seeing a lot of kidney going on here, strengthening the willpower, all of these things. But what would Confucianism say about it? Now, Confucianism is one of the core philosophies that permeates, even to this day, so much of Chinese culture. And they had many principles and lists similar to what Benjamin Franklin had of how one should conduct oneself in private, in society, family and society, with the ruler, with the rest of everybody. And was, keeping the whole world in balance. So let's take a look at his virtues and see how it compares to Confucianism. Temperance, we can say it's Zhong or Zhongyong in Chinese, which is the Confucianism. It's their main kind of thing. It's moderation. So we can kind of skip through. I will save some of these for the newsletter, some of these later down. We'll skip through some of these. I don't want to take up too much time, and we'll pick and choose a few. But the idea of moderation is core, very core to Confucianism, right? And the stability of society. So this goes beyond oneself. So that's number one. That's number three, order, right? That's going to be an important part of it. And moderation as well, number 9. So all of these kind of fall into that. Now, I'm going to skip around a little here. Cleanliness was huge in Confucianism. If you look, and like in the Tang Dynasty in particular, during that period of time, cleanliness was a huge thing. And if you look in Japan now, a lot of their culture that they continue today, including Chinese characters that they use, things like that, they got from the Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty was considered to be the height of Chinese culture. That happened during the Tang Dynasty. And the Japanese have continued with much of that today. One thing that you'll see is the bathhouses in Japan. That was a common thing during the Tang Dynasty. So Japanese, and this great emphasis that they have on cleanliness, both in body and society and everywhere, keeping things in order, that connected to Confucianism, that connected to, especially getting it from the Tang Dynasty. It falls right in line with what Benjamin Franklin was saying. So I guess we're not all that different after all, are we? So a couple other things. One thing that I wanted to look at here was justice, right? Number 8, the idea of justice. There are many deep principles in Confucianism and in Chinese culture about what is just, how things should be just. That could be a whole thing that we can discuss. But yeah, justice was very important back in the day. Silence, or sin, which would be trustworthiness. And we kind of see that later down on Franklin's list as well. Number 7, sincerity, right? So all of these actually match up with Confucianism incredibly well. Franklin's approach was kind of more about the individual. We seem to be more like that in the West, especially in the United States. People are more about the individual and cultivating that person. Whereas Confucianism, yeah, sure, the individual, but it's more the individual in relationship to all of society. But we see here with Benjamin Franklin, even though the emphasis is on the individual, a lot of what he's saying connects with your interactions with society. Matches Confucianism greatly. Buddhism. Temperance, we'll start with the first one though, we won't jump too much, aligns with the Buddhist principle of moderation and mindfulness in all actions, including eating and drinking, to avoid attachment and excess. Big thing in Buddhism, attachment. So temperance aligns well with that. Silence, we kind of talked about this. Silence and mindful speech are crucial for avoiding harmful or untruthful speech and practicing right speech, one of the steps on the Noble Eightfold Path of Buddhism. Order can be related to the practice of cultivating mental clarity and organization through meditation and mindfulness to attain mental and emotional balance. Absolutely. Resolution corresponds to the determination and resolve required to follow the path to enlightenment. This is Buddhism, right? Buddhism looking at Benjamin Franklin's 4th virtue. Frugality and non-attachment are key principles. Yes, they are. By avoiding excessive materialism and living simply, one can reduce suffering and attachment to material possessions. This is a key thing in Buddhism. Industry. Number 6, diligence and effort are important virtues on the path to spiritual awakening. One must work diligently to cultivate mindfulness and ethical behavior. Sincerity is linked to the practice of right intention and right thought on the Eightfold Path. It involves genuine and ethical motivations in all actions. So we are really seeing a lot of close connections here with Buddhism and what Benjamin Franklin was saying. Kind of interesting. Justice can be seen as upholding the principles of moral and ethical conduct, such as non-harming and compassion for all beings. Benjamin Franklin did not talk about compassion nearly as much as the Buddhists do, right? He was more about following these principles, but we do see aspects of that. Moderation is integral to the middle way, which is the balance between extremes. It involves avoiding extremes of self-indulgence. That's what we want. Cleanliness in terms of personal hygiene and purity of mind and body. This cleanliness can, especially for the Buddhists who are doing a lot of meditation, I would say they're probably going to emphasize cleanliness of the mind. I mean, your environment, yes, their environment is generally very simple to begin with, but cleanliness of the mind. Don't watch things you don't need to be watching. Don't read things. Don't listen to things you don't need to be, And this we've kind of talked about before in Chinese medicine as mind and body being one thing. If you have mental junk, in Chinese medicine, those are physical things. Those are different energies that we can't see here. We can't see with our physical eyes. That doesn't mean they don't exist, right? Physical eyes are just showing the reflection of light. There are deeper levels at play here. Tranquility is cultivated through meditation and mindfulness practices, helping individuals achieve inner peace and mental calmness. Yeah, tranquility, obviously huge for the Buddhists. Chastity, again, we're seeing this again, is related to ethical conduct in relationships and the practice of sexual restraint when it aligns with one's spiritual goals, which is Buddhists, that's it. You become a monk. Don't even think about it, right? The cleanliness of mind as well. Don't even think about it. Humility, last one, is a fundamental virtue. It involves recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings and understanding one's place in the world without arrogance or conceit. Also very Buddhist. Taoism. How does Taoism think of these principles? Temperance aligns with the Taoist principle of Wu Wei, non-action. It emphasizes going with the natural flow of life and avoiding excessive striving. Okay, interesting, right? Temperance could be seen as one aspect of Wu Wei, which is core to Taoist belief. Right, so the Taoists would say this is important. Silence relates to the Taoist concept of inner stillness and wu, right? Wu wei, wu, which is emptiness, which is nothing. That's what wu means. Or non-being, right? It involves quieting the mind to connect with the Tao, the fundamental source of all. So silence is going to be huge to a serious Taoist. Order can be associated with Li, which means natural order or principle, right? Taoism emphasizes living in harmony with the natural order of the Tao. Resolution aligns with the idea of following one's inner nature, 自然, which involves acting in accordance with one's true nature. Frugality corresponds to the Taoist principle of simplicity and modest living. Uncluttered life in harmony with nature. Industry can be seen as aligned with the Taoist concept of effortless action, Wu Wei, again, where one works without forcing or striving. Also, too, we have to remember for a lot of Taoist practices, at the beginning, especially at the beginning, there is a lot of work that goes into it. They have everything from their, martial arts, qigong, whatever their practice is. They have a lot of this physical. You have to do it. It's a lot of work, right? You have to kind of do all this stuff and get your body to this point, but you have to do it in a Wu Wei state, right? And that's kind of a big thing of what they're doing. Sincerity aligns with the Taoist idea of authenticity and being true to one's nature. Truth in Taoism is huge. That's kind of one of their guiding things, understanding the truth of what's going on, the truth of the universe, the truth of the principles, and following and aligning with that. And I think Benjamin Franklin would definitely agree with that. Justice can be linked to the Taoist concept of de, which means virtue or inner power. It's more means virtue. Taoists cultivate virtue to align with the Tao. Yes, that is the Dao De Jing. Dao, de, that's what de means. It means virtue. And Jing means classic. So that is the book that Lao Tzu wrote. Probably the most famous Taoist, but there are many Taoist practices out there. Moderation is essential in Taoism, emphasizing balance and avoiding extremes to maintain harmony with the Tao. Okay, we talked a little bit about that before. Cleanliness may be related to the idea of inner purity and clarity, similar to what we were talking about with the Buddhists. Keeping the mind and heart free from unnecessary clutter and desires. Tranquility aligns with the Taoist practice of meditation and inner stillness, allowing one to connect with the Tao and achieve a sense of peace. It goes well beyond that. Chastity, same thing, we're seeing this. Chastity may relate to the preservation of one's vital energy, or jing, okay, through practices like sexual restraint, which is believed to enhance vitality, right? It's also a big thing in Taoism. Humility is a central virtue, as Taoism emphasizes the importance of humanity, simplicity, non-assertiveness in aligning with the Tao. Okay, so believe it or not, that was Benjamin Franklin and all those virtues, and we looked at those from many different points of view, and I think we can safely say those are great virtues. No matter what point of view you look at them from, no matter what culture you're looking at them from, they seem like they're all very good virtues that could be used not only to help you achieve a more peaceful, tranquil, happy, just life, but also might help those on their spiritual path. Who knows? Something to think about. All right, so please, again, like and subscribe. Go check out the website, ancientlifehacks.com. Sign up for the newsletter, and I will see everyone next week.